Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Planeswalkers Pub. I'm your host, Aaron.
I'm Eric, back from vacation.
Howdy, it's RJ. Today we are going to be talking about our time at the pre-release and what we think about the cards now that we have played them. But first, let's talk about our signature card.
Yes, every episode of the Planeswalkers Pub will feature a signature card that may or may not relate to the episode's topic. But first, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. This way you're up to date on all the newest episodes.
Today's signature card is Teleportal. Teleportal costs 1 blue and 1 red. It's a sorcery that states target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. It also states Overload for 3, a blue and a red, and states you may cast this spell for its overload cost. If you do, change its text by replacing all instances of target with each.
So this card's dope.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I like it.
A mass Rogue's Passage.
Yeah.
I like Overload in general because it's a weird mechanic. It's like, okay, literally change the text on the card to say each rather than target.
Yeah, and even better the fact that the overload costs typically cost a lot, but the upside is that you're getting a humongous effect. We all know Cyclonic Rift
And Vandal Blast.
and Vandal Blast. Psych Rift officially states 1 a blue, you bounce 1 thing. No one ever really uses a single targeted Psych Rift, but occasionally it can save your life if you're bouncing that 1 Blight Steal that's going to kill you.
Yeah.
And Vandal Blast is the same principle. Pay a single red, blow up a single artifact, or overload it, blow up all the artifacts that you don't control. Overload's really dope. Giving something unblockable is also really dope.
Call me crazy.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
Thank you. But maybe this is Magical Christmas Land. If you have Biden of Thassa out and this card, you overload it, you hit them with 5 creatures, you draw 5 cards.
Easy.
The problem with this is the color combination. Is that aren't known for having swarms of creatures with significant power toughness that would make boosting them all unblockable significant.
Sir,
so you
can
would
I-
need to ride on secondary effects like Biden of Thassa to make this worth it. At least in my opinion.
Sir, can I introduce you to a small card called Locust God?
Oh,
Locust God already has flying. The Locusts already have flying.
That's
so-
true, but think about archetype of imagination exists. If you know that Locust Guy's going to be in your play group, you can always run that as a counter to it. This way they're all on the ground. Making your 30, or not even 30, just 20 Locusts unblockable, that's 20 damage.
that's not just
and it
20.
doubles, yeah.
That's 40.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you'd think, oh, you want this on a bigger creature, but
Oh, I
this is
forgot
still,
it gives it +1/+0.
so
yeah.
it doubles the power of your 1/1s.
Yeah,
as
that
they
could
swing
be
in.
that could be huge. That could be
It
really
could
huge.
be, but it could also be a dud.
Then here's a question: would you add let's add additional color? Let's add white or something in that sense to it, or green to just kind of in that type of deck.
White or
concept.
green would be better because of the token strategies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could put this in a just Sky Tokens deck.
Yeah,
Kaikar.
prowess.
Yeah.
Prowess Mentor, young Pyromancer.
Or just Kaikar deck.
Brudiclad's Mirrors and himself would all...
See, there you go. That's an Izzet commander right there. Brutal.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump over to our main topic. So yesterday was our pre-release, and although I failed miserably at said pre-release, we're going to talk about it anyway.
Were you a little tilted, Aaron?
Tilted doesn't even describe it. It's not even tilt. It's just, it's...
Poor little Esper Control couldn't get off the ground.
Nope.
Did you force Esper Control, or was that literally what you could build?
My green pool was basically all just pump spells, and I just refused to play red. Re-looking through my cards, I should have played red.
Oh.
I should have just went Izzet and just wrecked face. How did everybody else do?
Well, I did 2-1 with Mardu Knights. Funnily enough, I did want to build this, and my pre-release pack rewarded me. In fact, it rewarded me overly so that I literally could not build anything else, even if I wanted to. Much like Aaron, I had almost no green creatures, and the blue and the red, well, the red did night stuff, but didn't do anything else, and the blue drew cards, but I didn't get any counter spells or anything like that. So it had to be Mardu Knights.
On the flip side, I actually got 3 counter spells in my pool, which is why I went Esper Control.
Yeah.
RJ went 3-0. Selesnya Tramplers.
Yeah, he went Selesnya Beatdown, and
I packed 3 Fierce Witchstalkers, which cost 2 and 2 green. It's a wolf. It's a 4/4 with Trampler. And when it enters the battlefield, you get a food token. I got the Fancy Art Lovestruck Beast.
Oh, nice.
And that wrecked face. You get a 1/1 turn 1. Turn 3, you have a 5/5. It's very gross. And
Yeah.
I wrecked face. The first match I played against was my friend Justin. Our friend Justin.
The friend just.
The friend Justin. I wrecked face. I just beat him down. The second match, again, just beat down. I'd get out either a Witch Stalker or the Archon of Absolution, which says people can't attack me unless they pay 1 for each creature. And every single match went like that.
So there's a beatdown. That's basically how the pre-release was going for the most part. No one could really stop it.
Yeah, that seemed to be the most powerful deck. My Knights pretty much played out a similar way to RJ's, except I was unfortunate not to have Tramplers. But I had other combat tricks, like that Goblin Knight that is double strike. He's really, really strong in my
Yeah,
deck.
he is.
And so Sir Alan, who, when you swing in, everything that's swinging with him gets +1/+1, and he himself has First Strike. First Strike and Double Strike are, needless to say, incredibly deadly.
Like I said, my deck's got 3 counter spells. It's a 1 blue counter target spell, then its controller mills 3, which is kind of great. So I got 3 of those, so I ran all 3, obviously. I did actually pull Sir Lenza the Discerning.
The one who lets you is big boy if you draw cards.
Yeah, so 3 blue for Legendary Human Knights, star power, and then 4 toughness. Her power is equal to the number of cards in your hand, and when she enters the battlefield, you draw a card, and then spells your opponents cast to target her cost 2 more to cast. And like I said last episode, when we talked about her, top decking this is the worst thing you can possibly do. Because I top decked her, I'm like, cool, I drew a single card. I only had the 1 card in hand. She's a 1/4.
Like we said, if you drew 2 cards, would have been better, but you didn't.
Not even that. We mentioned if you draw 3 cards, like 5 mana, draw 3 cards, and you get a creature that cares about the size of your hand. Like, she's basically a worse Psychosis Crawler. I didn't think of the Piper of the Swarms, though, the one that makes rats. It's these. So needless to say, we're Commander players, so we don't necessarily care that much about Standard, but we want to talk about the cards themselves because this is the first time we've actually experienced them, and just kind of the mechanics and how we theorize would work, and then actually work in practice. I want to start off with talking about food. That's actually a really good mechanic that I originally was going to say was just garbage.
Yeah, no, what I was saying earlier is that it's either going to be completely broken or completely useless, and it's in the middle.
Yeah, it's not that broken, it's not that useless. Let's bring up Tempting Witch, 2 in a black. 1/3, when she enters the battlefield, you create a food token, and then you can pay 2 and tap her, sacrifice a food, and then target player loses 3 life. So she was kind of cool just because occasionally I would just eat the food if I'm low on life. Other times I would just kind of just sack it and then force them to kind of lose life, which is kind of decent.
I'm gonna be the negative Nancy here and say I don't like the food mechanic and don't think it's all that good in EDH. Good in Standard, because with Standard you have the lower life total, and in that situation, 3 life is a bigger percentage of your total life.
Yeah.
But in EDH, it's double that. You have 40. And most situations where you're low on life, let's say 5, and you eat the food and you go up to 8, that's not gonna buy you much time, if any.
It'll buy you a little time.
I mean, here's the thing, like, the food, especially in EDH, it only is really going to matter if you have, like, a lot of them. But upside, I did see a bunch of different cards, at least in the smaller pools that I've versed or whatever, that do create food. So, it is possible to make a food deck. You can definitely rock it out. Is it going to be good? Probably not.
What's the win con? Aetherflux? Or
Probably.
Faldor Sovereign?
You know, the standard life game bull crap.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I'd rather have a clue token any day of the week. What do you guys think of Adamant?
I kind of like it. And I say it that slowly because you had to think about it for
You
a bit.
did, because usually I'm used to tapping, I have 1 white pip. Let me just hit that and then make the others whatever.
I feel like, yeah. This time you actually have to think about it.
Yeah, I liked it because it really helped me in pre-release. A lot of those adamant spells, like the Knight, it enters with a +1/+1 counter, turning it into a 3/6.
Yeah, I want to mention Foreboding Fruits. It's 2 in a black for a sorcery. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. And then you can animate it. If you pay 3 black in order to cast this, you also get a food token. So it's one of those things that you can kind of offset the 2 life loss by gaining 3 type deal.
Yeah.
Adamant's not as taxing as I thought it was originally going to be. Because I originally thought it was like, okay, we got to like focus 100% on your mana. It's like, you don't have that many Adamant cards to do that.
Or play in a monocolor deck, and you don't have to worry about that ever.
Yeah.
One of my victories was from Adamant. I have the Red Knight, which is a 4/1, but comes out as a 5/2. He won me a game, but in the game that I lost, Adamant screwed me because I couldn't trigger it, and that might have made the difference. And I was in a 3-color deck, so I think Adamant only works if you're in a mono or dual. Beyond that, I think it's really, really hard to get it to trigger.
Adamant's, it's a nice addition, but you're kind of putting the cards in your commander deck for the original effect. If you get the Adamant, awesome. If not, it's fine.
Yeah, it's a plus.
It just kind of is. Let's jump over to the last mechanic, which we mentioned beforehand, the adventure mechanic. Thoughts on that?
Insane. I don't know, in maybe a commander format it'll be different, but in this, it was nothing but good stuff for me. Because I got Garenbrig Carver. It has an adventure for 1 and a green. It's a pump spell. And then later I can bring him out as a creature. Lovestruck Beast, you make a 1/1. Then you bring out a 5/5 for 3 mana. It's what I got was ridiculous.
I kind of like the adventure mechanic just because it definitely changes the math and definitely changes kind of like your options, which is kind of nice. I actually did run the Unicorn, which it's like 2 and a white, create a 2/2, and then you can bring it out later. It's a 3/3 with Vigilance, something stupid like that.
Isn't also really expensive. It's like 5 mana for a 3/3 Vigilance.
Yes, so it's not good in Commander sense, but it's also one of those things.
It was probably great in the pre-release.
Pre-release, it was. I couldn't really cast it because it just remember
It's
Esper
5 mana.
Esper control. That's just how that works. But at that point, I'd already lost the game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like the adventure mechanics. I feel like they, out of everything, can transition over to Commander just because we tend to have like a crap ton of mana anyway. We can typically do both those abilities, like, do the adventure and then bring in the creature at the same turn. So you can get a huge value. We talked about the actual sprites.
Hypnotic Sprite, yeah.
That counters something. You can literally counter it and then, like, on your turn, cast a sprite. There is this 1 mana chick. For her adventure, you pay 1 blue. Target player mills 4, and then pay 1 blue. She's a 0/4. I use that so many times in the pre-release just because it's just good. It's just, okay, turn 1, do this, mill 4. Like, turn 2, I didn't draw anything decent, okay, or I've killed the counterspell or whatever. Pay 1, I've got a blocker. That's a decent bodied blocker.
I could totally see creatures being chosen for their adventures.
Yeah.
Like, I could see Blue decks choosing Hypnotic Sprite because it's another counterspell, and then never casting it. Or they might cast, be like, I have 2 mana, I could use a 2/1 chump blocker with flying.
Yeah.
Murderous Knight with Swift End. $11 card right now. Swift End is his instant. 1 and 2 black. Destroy target creature, planeswalker, you lose 2 life.
Yeah, it's murder.
That what?
It's a
1
murder.
and a black.
It's a
destroy
murder.
Target.
No, 1 and 2 black.
1 and 2 black.
It's a murder.
It's a murder.
They put murder
They put
on a
just-
creature.
Actually, it's not murder. It's Hero's Downfall.
It's
Oh, yeah, it's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no color restriction or artifact restriction.
Oh,
what
no.
it destroys.
No color restriction or artifact.
Okay.
It's a,
That's amazing
Yeah.
utility.
and then I'm pretty sure it's like a 1/1 Death Toucher once
Yeah.
you bring it out.
Something stupid like that. It's the adventure mechanic is definitely really cool. I know this is technically not really adventure.
Some
mechanic.
are, some aren't.
Some are, most aren't, but some of them I definitely can see. Like the guy that's that's at $11 right now. He's definitely probably going to go into a mono black deck just because it's a Hero's Downfall, which is nice.
Not
if you
even
don't-
mono black. It'll go in any black deck. I mean,
Yeah.
I would put it in any black deck.
Yeah.
Or
it's a
off.
Death Touch blocker and a removal spell on 1 card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you typically, like I said, can cast. I like the fact that there's instance of it. So you really have to think, okay, what do they have now?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
This is way better than if a creature said it was a 1/1 Death Toucher. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature, planeswalker.
Yeah.
You lose 2 life.
That would
it's
be-
better than that.
Yeah.
Because you can cast the Swift End and then wait to bring out the creature.
Yeah.
Corner case, but if someone plays a card that you can't play a named card, like, let's say they're like, oh, I don't want to get removal. I'll call Here's Downfall. Now no one can play Here's Downfall. Oh, well, I have the knight that has
Here's Downfall on it. Yeah.
But that's called Swift End. And
Yeah.
call me crazy. We're going to have to look up rulings. Aaron's going to edit this whole thing out.
Yay.
I believe if you play a Pithing Needle and you do something like that and you say Murderous Knight, you can still use his adventure because the adventure is a whole nother card. It's a whole nother name because it's a different card.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's complicated, but that's why I love it, just because it changes the way things work, which is kind of nice. I like the fact that, like, you can kind of have these cards just in the wings, ready to bring out whenever, which is kind of nice. Because there are a lot of, like, what is it? The Beanstalk Giant has a cool effect with his adventure, and then he also comes out and this is a giant freaking creature. Like,
Yeah.
it's just good. It's just good. Can we talk for a second about all the flash that's in this set?
Oh, yeah, like...
Can we talk for like 1 second?
Like that Serpent, Demir Serpent, 7/7 Flash? Yeah, why not?
Oh,
I mean, there's the fairy guy that has flash or whatever.
the 3/1?
Yeah, the 3/1 that just has flash, just casual. There's a bunch of stuff that has flash in this freaking set, and I'm just like, it's fine, but like, Jesus Christ, mate.
Who needs to cast stuff at sorcery speed?
Yeah, just so much freaking flash. I mean, granted, it's in...
Well, anticipation's in standard, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well.
In Commander, flash does matter. And in Commander, these creatures that have flash aren't going to matter as much. Like, the fairy guy, whatever, he's just like, he's a 1...
Yeah.
He's a 1/2 flyer, yay. But one cool thing is that he also has an adventure. So you can go put him on the adventure, and then you can flash him out from his adventure.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Someone actually did that to me, and that threw me the hell off.
About the adventure tokens, it addresses that issue we were talking about earlier.
Where to actually put it in.
Yeah, how it's like, what if this is Path to Exiled? Do I know if it's on the adventure or not? Well, if you have the adventure tokens, you'll be able to separate adventure exile and real exile.
Yeah. Someone actually adventured with, actually, the Beanstalk Giant, and he put it like under his deck like a normal exile would be. He completely forgot about it. I mean, he still won the game, but like he did completely forget about that fact that he did that adventure. What I and a lot of other people were actually doing, we were putting the adventure cards that were on adventure underneath our playmats, just like kind of sticking out from the edges or whatever.
Yeah.
This way, when you kind of glance at the board, you saw it and you're like, oh, right.
Although players forgetting about their resources is a new thing. How many times have you forgotten about a flashback or something you could have done? I know I have.
Or just like, you're like, okay, I'm going to tap my mana like this. Forget why you tapped your mana like that, and it's like, okay, we'll pass the turn. And glance at your hand like, damn it!
Yeah. So if you remember me, how I tend to, when we finish a game, forget to shuffle in my exile back into my library, you could probably guess that I had 2 creatures on an adventure and forgot they existed. They were sitting right here, just off to the side. And just...
Did anyone get any of the actual castles, by the way?
I got the white one.
I got the red and the black one, and I played both in my night deck.
Are you guys going to put those inside your commander deck?
Like I said, I do have the Graven deck, and I think Castle Locthwain does have a place there. Other places, doming yourself for 6, for example, is not good for 1 card.
Yeah.
Now, the Foreboding Fruit, on the other hand, doming yourself for 2 and drawing 2 cards is an excellent exchange.
Especially with that, because you can adamant it very easily and then get a food in order to gain back your life. Because I feel like with Graven, you don't do anything until you can guarantee to gain back some of your life.
Yeah.
So having the food mechanic in that could actually work out to your benefit. I actually ran Castle Ventress, which is the one that comes in untapped if you control an island, taps for a blue, then pay 2 blue, tap it to scry 2. I already put it inside of my new Alayla deck just because it's scrying every turn. And it's basically kind of like I thought it was. We're just sitting there doing nothing. Okay, well, if you end your turn, I'm just going to scry.
So I got the white one. And I think, like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? If I have the mana lying around and nothing else to do, like I've been noticing a lot in the games that I was playing the other day with the Goad deck, I'll have 14 mana because I'll have a Zendikar Resurgence or something else out.
Yeah.
And I have nothing to do with it. So having something on the board that lets me dump my mana into it is great.
Also, I've revised my opinion on the Red Castle. I think it's actually pretty good, especially since our card of the day was
That gives overload.
something that gives +1/+0 to everything. Having that kind of mass pump, even if it's just 1, can turn 10 damage into 20 damage into 30 damage.
Yeah. Jumping over to our next segment, showcase cards. The showcase cards, the pictures don't give them justice, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, because they just look so much better in real life than
They
do
really
just like
do.
on the screen or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
They
No,
just-
I thought you meant, like, it doesn't make the power level of the cards, like, it doesn't match the power level of the cards.
I mean, it doesn't.
I would
Don't,
agree with
but-
that. Some of the beautiful ones, like the effects are just so bad.
Yeah.
Even from a standard gameplay view, like
Lovestruck Beast, the showcase art is gorgeous. The actual regular art is so doofy and ugly looking. I feel bad for him.
Tiny bit.
I understand Lovestruck Beast. I understand.
and Hypnotic Sprite or Spectre, whatever it is, the one with the counter adventure.
Yeah.
The showcase art far outstrips the regular art.
Yeah. And it's just, the showcase are just really, really pretty. Even if you're not going to use it, you can just toss it into your trade binder. It's going to be traded. And it's funny because some cards are like, oh, well, like, you know, it's like 30 cents or whatever. But just to physically have the showcase versus the original, it's worth. Plus, which is something that we didn't 100% realize, you can open up showcase in just regular packs.
Yeah, no, like, you remember my rant the last episode, or 2 episodes ago, how I was so pissed because I'm pretty sure you said they're taking foils out of regular packs.
Yeah.
And I flipped. I'm like, why would they do that? They're taking something we've had for years. But they didn't. The foils are in the packs.
Yeah,
The showcases
foils are in the packs. The
are in
showcase
packs.
now.
I
The
think
show.
that's just for this set because of the showcase.
No, because I got foils in my packs.
Okay, then I have no idea.
I'm very confused now.
Shout out to
I
Watch Secret,
have,
not explaining.
I have foil basics and stuff. Like, I have a foil basics island that I got from a regular pack.
I don't consider this foil because it's a freaking it's a basic.
It's a foil. Dude, one thing. The art in this set, yeah, I know we were just kind of bashing on the regular arts, but a lot of the art in this set is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, they've really stepped up their game.
It's an aesthetic person's delight. It's probably not fantastic because the price of the showcase pack, which they're gonna sell like around like 40 or something. Yeah. Because the value is, there's no MSRP, but the shops need to calculate the value, and some of the showcase arts are incredibly valued. So you could pay $40 and then pull like a $100 showcase, and you've gotten $50 back, $60 back.
Let's actually jump over to our last segment, which is just going to be talking about a bunch of cool cards that we are probably going to add either into our commander decks or just in general of just really cool cards. I kind of want to start with Witching Well. So I mentioned this beforehand. It's a single blue for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, it's scry 2. And then you can pay 3 in a blue, tap, or 3 in a blue, sack it, draw 2 cards. It was really cool. And the pre-release was great. If you dropped like turn 1 or whatever, you could scry 2, it's awesome. If you dropped like turn 4 or something, there was this one game where I actually dropped it, scried 2, and then instantly cracked it to draw those 2 cards. That just feels great. I'm not entirely sure how I can fit this in a deck. It is an artifact, which is kind of nice.
Well, jumping on the blue artifact bandwagon, I really like Midnight Clock. 2 in a blue, artifact, tap, blue. 2 in a blue, put an hour counter on it. At the beginning of each upkeep, put an hour counter on it. And when the 12th hour counter is put on it, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards and exile it.
So you said it has to take 12 turns to...
Yeah, but you can pay 2 in a blue into it to
each,
put more
each
counters
upkeep.
onto it.
It's only 6 turns.
This is amazing in Commander.
Yeah, no, that's great. A 6-man game, it's when it hits you again, or 2 rounds of the table.
Yeah.
It's like Lubinarch Ascension good.
Outflank. Single white for an instant. Outflank deals damage to target attacking or blocking creature equal to the number of creatures you control. I like this card because it says attacking creature, which means you can do this before blocks. Now, yes, the theory is, okay, well, this is Commander. There's a decent chance, unless you're running tokens, you're not going to have like a million creatures on the floor. You don't need a million creatures. This can maybe kill this Wormcoil Engine, because let's say you've got like, 3 2/2s or whatever. They attack with the Wormcoil Engine. Yeah, use this. Deals 3 damage to it, then you block with 2 of your guys, boom, you just killed it. As opposed to having to block
and
with
now
all...
you have to deal with 2 3/3 worms, 1 with Death Touch, 1 lifeless.
That's true.
And you've lost 3 cards, the 2 2/2s you had and this.
Well, no, actually, yeah.
That's a terrible situation.
The point is, it's a combat trick that's a single mana. How
Yes.
many times are combat tricks actually single mana that can potentially do a lot of damage? Like, we're just mentioning 3 creatures on board. There's times where you'll have like 5 creatures just chilling randomly. You don't have to be in a token deck.
Literally rather have any other card of this type. I'd rather have Swords to Plowshares, Condemn,
$3.
Path to Exile,
Expensive
Settle the
one.
Wreckage.
Settle the Wreckage.
Are you
going to
settle for 1 creature?
I just might.
It's
Mr.
4
Wrath
mana.
of God, Sarah Ascendant.
Yeah, because it's a bloody Saracen.
Yeah, and
It's
it's
only a
bloody...
6/6 flyer with lifelink.
Yeah, it's only a
for 1.
6/6
And
flyer.
exiling Wormcoil Engine stops it from
activating
anyway.
That's
so
true.
that's actually a worthwhile usage of Settle the Wreckage.
This is also a budget card that you could put into decks that you don't want to put a ton of money into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, it is technically like an additional, because we mentioned Path, we mentioned Swords. Those are one-time effects that you can use them once. If you have this is also like,
It's another one.
it's another one.
I'd say you can get some use out of this. In a token swarm deck, you can take out some big scary threats. Like, you can take an Ur Dragon out with this. If 10 creatures on the field, just boom, there you go.
Yeah, that's true. But what if you don't have any creatures? Then this does nothing. I just think white has so many other better choices than this. This should be like the last on the list.
Archon of Absolution. Costs 3 and a white. It's a 3/2. Creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. It's another propaganda effect. It's another Ghostly Prison effect. It's Baird Steward of Archive, but on a
Archangel
3/2 flyer.
Tides.
Yeah, it's
Good.
another one of those effects.
Plus, this
And-
was a flyer.
Yeah, it has flying. It's a 3/2. I get it, Archangel is stronger, I believe. It's a 4/4, isn't it? The
Archangel, the problem with Archangel is the fact of she only gets the effect if she's not tapped. So if you've got someone that can actually tap her down for whatever reasoning, that effect goes away. Versus this, it doesn't matter. And you can at least swing with it.
Oh, I forgot to say, this creature's pro-white.
Go on.
I just skipped it as I was going through. It's a flying pro-white 3/2.
You should lead with that next time.
Yeah,
Don't have to
no.
worry about being pathed or swordsed.
Really, really, really good.
I'd put Crashing Drawbridge on here. Cost 2, it's an artifact, 0/4 defender. You can tap it and give all your creatures haste. I think this is, I'm probably wrong. This is the first example of a colorless source giving haste to everything.
I don't think this is good.
Why?
Why?
Because even in, like, limited or whatever, it worked out. Because, like, you know, they need haste and everything else. Since you're 1/1, that's fine. With this, you need, not really a lot of creatures, but you need more creatures to kind of make this work. Because I pulled, like, 3 of them. So, like, you know.
So did I.
I've got,
I
like,
didn't get a single one, and I would have loved
you can
it.
borrow one of ours. But I'm trying to put it into a deck, and it's hard to decipher what am I taking out to put this card in. Because the same principle, like my card, you need creatures in order to activate this. This, it can't use its ability from the gate, so you have to drop it, like, either early or... You know, something in that
That's
sense.
why it's 2 mana, which is, I love how it's an early draw. Because if this was like 3 or 4, this would be unplayable.
But in Commander's reasoning, you would have to maybe give this Lightning Greaves or something in order to give everything else haste.
I give my Crashing Drawbridge Lightning Greaves.
yeah.
These
Why not?
My point is the fact of, like, you need creatures in order to make this work, and the question is how many, you need to make a lot of creatures all at once to really make this beneficial. Giving one creature haste, I would rather have Lightning Greaves, not a creature that can die to
Yes,
remove
but it's another haste enabler. Most decks play boots, and mostly save the boots for a commander. What if you have other creatures you want to either attack or tap with?
That's why Swiftfoot Boots exist. My thing is with this is the fact of, like, it's the standard, alright, I'm putting this in, what am I taking out? Like, I know...
That's a question.
I know
Unless you're building a deck with this specifically and as part of the initial 99. I'm not going to say this is the best card ever, but I think this opens up new avenues to decks that previously didn't have access to haste in any shape or form.
Yeah.
Or they had access to it in janky ways, like green has Concordant Crossroads, which gives everything haste and also costs $30. But this is now for defender, so he comes out turn 1 or turn 2 if you land Soaring him. He just chills, defends you, and then when you get those relevant creatures out, oh look, he's been out for 3 turns. Tap, haste, either swing out or use tap ability.
Since we're talking about defenders, let's talk about the Trebuchet. That card is going to get nuts. You tap it, do 1 damage to each opponent, wording matters. You play a knight, he untaps, you can untap him again. This can get broken.
Speaking of the Trebuchet, I really like how the Knights are a real tribal. In my book, there are 2 types of tribals. There's real tribal, and then there's tribal with quotation marks above it. Real tribal has cards that actually care about cards of its own type. Quotation tribals are all these creature types just happen to be the same creature type, but they don't actually care about each other.
Yeah.
Like Eldrazi. No Eldrazi cards except Eye of Ugin actually care about other Eldrazi.
Yeah.
They just all happen to be Eldrazi, but I don't get any benefits from being like, oh, when you cast an Eldrazi spell,
You get
X happens, or all Eldrazi get something.
I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Throne of Eldraine is 100% the Knight Tribal's dream. This is what all Knight... Anyone wants to build a Knight deck, this is your set. Buy a box, buy 2 boxes, because you're going to want every fucking card in this set. They're all dumb. Like, it's easy to build Knight Tribal now, which is nice.
Because previously it was soldiers. Like,
Yeah.
Knights were completely shafted.
Basically. But all that being said, let's switch over to our last thing, which is going to be Last Call.
Last call.
You don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here.
Alright, so final thoughts and a question to the guys actually listening is, how was your pre-release, if you actually went? And what other cards are you really, really excited about that you've either tried out, that you've versed recently?
What cards do you hate?
What cards do you
what
hate?
cards do you hate? Well, I know I hate Outflank, so...
What cards are you really excited about just to even play or just to see? I know that we mentioned this beforehand, but just that's one cool about the adventures too, is that they're not all just sorceries.
Yeah. I love how previously we had enchantment creatures, we've had artifact creatures forever. We even have planeswalker creatures if you count the flipwalkers. But now we have sorcery and instant creatures.
We do.
Now it's gonna get crazy. Oh, well, there's the thing. If something cares about, like, oh, well, how many instances you have in your graveyard, these don't count.
Are you sure?
Yes. In the graveyard, everywhere except for on the stack, they are creatures. Period.
Okay.
So that's how
When
that
you
works.
cast their adventure, are they
At
instant
that
or
point,
sorcery?
they're an instant or sorcery.
Okay.
But everywhere else, they're creatures. Side note, I need you all to listen to me very, very carefully. Ginger Brutes is not a food. Food
He
is
is a food, but
He
he's
is
not.
a food.
His creature type is not food.
his creature type is not food.
It's a shame.
Food is only an artifact typing. That is it. It's not a creature
Like
type. It
equipment?
is just an artifact
Yeah.
type. Yes, like equipment.
Like equipment, like a treasure, like a
Like a clue token.
Clue token.
That's the thing. It is not.
Like a gold token.
Yes. Ginger Brute is not a food, which
So
means
changelings
are
food.
not food.
Okay.
They are friends.
Changelings are friends,
Not food.
Yes. But they are nobles and peasants.
They are nobles and
Nobles
peasants.
and peasants. Thank you to all of our actual newest subscribers. We're at like 62 now, which is amazing and great. We're planning on doing something really crazy when we get to 100, I promise. Thanks for actually watching. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button, subscribe to our Twitter, which is Planeswalkers P1. Thanks, guys. See you next time.